Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Anne and today I'm going to talk about my most anticipated releases for 2021. We're already almost through the first month of 2021 and I'm a bit late with this video, but I still wanted to do it because there are some books I'm really excited about that are coming out this year. One of them has already come out and I have already read and loved, but I just wanted to talk about them. So let's dive right in, and I'm talking about these books in chronological order of them being released. The first one is Concrete Rose by Angie. As you can see, this one has already been released. It was released on the 12th of January and I have also already read it and I gave it 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing and I loved it and I urge everyone to read it. I also did a reading vlog in which this featured heavily. I'll leave that up above so you can watch that if you like. It's a cozy type reading vlog and I bake bread, I read this book and I just had a good time. But Concrete Rose is a prequel novel to The Hate You Give, which is one of my favorite YA novels of all time. I'm actually currently rereading that one and I'm rediscovering my love for it because it is so good. But Concrete Rose tells the story of Maverick, who is the father of the main character from The Hate You Give, Star. And in this novel we follow him as a 17-year-old boy as he has to navigate life in Garden Heights, which is a rough neighborhood. He's in high school there, his mother works 2 jobs to support them and his father is in prison and he is part of a gang and has started to sell drugs because he just doesn't see another way to earn money and to have protection as well. Protection is a big part of why he has joined the gang. And then he finds out that he is a father to a 3-month-old little boy and he has to deal with teenage fatherhood on top of that as well, while still being a kid himself. I'm not going to go into my review for this because that's not what this video is about. I did write a full review on my blog. If you want to read that, I'll leave the link down below. But I just want to say that it's really good and it deals with some very important topics. So if you're still on the fence about whether or not you want to read this, please do. It's amazing. The next book I'm very excited about is Heartstopper Volume 4 by Oseman. This is the 4th volume, obviously, in the Heartstopper graphic novel series, which is a YA contemporary graphic novel series about Charlie and Nick. They both go to the same high school and when they end up sitting next to each other in class, they kind of form a friendship and then that develops into something more. It's all about growing up, finding who you are, finding your identity, friendship, love, family. It's absolutely wonderful. It's very heartwarming, but it also deals with some heavy topics like homophobia, mental illness and things like that. And I really like the art style as well. It's seemingly very simple, but there are very beautiful details and everything flows together very nicely. And I love it a lot and I can't wait to read the 4th volume. And I forgot to mention when it's coming out. It's coming out on the 6th of February, so that's almost. Then we've got The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky, which is coming out on the 18th of February. And this is one I'm very excited about. I keep saying that Concrete Rose is my most anticipated release for the year, or was. But this one is definitely up there. This is the 4th book in the Wayfarer series, which is a sci-fi series that I absolutely adore. I read the second 2 books in the series last year and I read the first book, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, in 2019 and I gave all of them 5 stars. They're amazing. And I thought it was a trilogy. I thought it would be over after the 3rd one, but then late last year I found out that a 4th one is coming and I pre-ordered a signed special edition right away because this has quickly become one of my favorite series of all time. The series is very character driven and atmospheric and a little less focused on plot. It's all about world building and these cultures and these different people and races, and I absolutely love that. And they're companion novels, so all of these books follow a different set of characters. And this 4th book is set on a planet called Gora, and on this planet there isn't much. There's no water, there's no air, but it is exactly on the way to other more popular planets, so it kind of serves as a truck stop. And I think it's actually set in a truck stop of sorts, but then for space travel, called the 5-Hop 1 Stop, and due to a technical failure type thing, 3 characters are stuck here together. I think they don't know each other and they're all from different races and they all have different aims, but they have to work together or survive together, I'm not sure. They're stuck in the 5-stop 1 hop. And this sounds like a great premise to me, so I'm really excited to dive in. Next up on the list is Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefvater, which comes out on the 6th of May. This is the sequel to Call Down the Hawk, which is the first book in the Dreamer trilogy. And this trilogy is kind of a sequel to the Raven Cycle. This trilogy follows Ronan, who we know from the Raven Cycle has a special ability. He can take stuff from his dreams to the real world, and his dreams are very powerful. We already knew that in the Raven cycle, but in the Dreamer trilogy this is explored further and the stakes become higher and more characters are introduced, and it's about dreamers and people who hunt dreamers and kind of possibly the end of the world. And I have to say that I don't really remember all that much from Call Down the Hawk. I read it at the start of last year or at the end of 2019, I think a combination of those two. And I know I really loved it and I remember kind of things in a blur from it, but I think I will really have to reread it before diving into Mr. Impossible. Also, can we just quickly talk about how ridiculous that title sounds? It sounds really stupid and every time I see it I kind of have to snort, but I think knowing Maggie Stiefvater that it will have a reason, that it will become clear why this book is called Mr. Impossible when you're reading it. At least I really hope so. Next up there's Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this will come out at the end of May or at the beginning of June. It wasn't entirely clear to me from looking online. But this is a novel about 4 famous siblings who throw a huge party at the end of the summer to celebrate the end of summer, and it's set in 1983 over a period of I think 24 hours as these siblings have to go through stuff. That's kind of all I know. I know they are the children of Mick Riva, and Mick Riva is a character we've seen in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is also one of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. I think he is a rock star, if I remember correctly, and these siblings are all his offspring. I am excited about this book, I'm looking forward to reading it, but I'm also kind of scared that it will be more of the same, because I read Daisy Jones and the Six in 2019 and I absolutely loved it, and then last year I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and I thought it was kind of similar. Daisy Jones and the Six is about a band from the 70s and it's a reconstruction of how they got together, why they split up and everything in between, and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is about this aging starlet, Evelyn Hugo, or I should say an aging star because starlet sounds kind of denigrating. She's an aging star, she was in lots and lots of films, she was very popular, and it's about her and her 7 husbands because she famously married 7 men. It's about her life in Hollywood and it's about her bisexuality. On the surface those things do seem like 2 different stories, but they did feel kind of similar since they were both looking back on things. They're both about fame, they're both about things happening in the past and being played out in the media partly. So while I enjoyed both books a lot, I did think they were similar, and I'm kind of scared that this will be another story about fame that's similar. It's also set in the 80s, so a while back, just like the other 2 books, but maybe it will be very different. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing, so I'm excited to find out. Then there's The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson, which comes out on the 15th of June, and this is a YA mystery and it's the 4th book in the Truly Devious series. And when I found out actually this morning that this 4th book is coming out, I was a little confused because the mystery that was started in the 1st book, Truly Devious, was neatly wrapped up in the 3rd book, which came out last year, I think. So I thought, what will this 4th book be about? But apparently it's the first standalone book within the Truly Devious universe, and it's about Stevie, who was also the main character in the first 3 books, and in the last 3 books she solved the case of Allingham Academy, which is a case that went unsolved for years and years, decades even. So now she's kind of gained respectability and fame within the true crime community, even though she's like 17 I think. And then she gets a call from the owner of Camp Bounty Lake, which is the site of the infamous Box in the Woods murders from the 70s. And she is asked to come work there as a camp counselor. I think it's a summer camp for kids probably, I'm not sure. But she's asked to work there and to work on the case because strange things have started happening at the camp again. So she goes there to work as a counselor and she brings her friends Nate, Vi and Janelle, I think, who were also a big part of the first 3 books and whom I loved. So that's kind of the premise for this book. I think the idea is that in this book the case is solved in 1 book, which I'm excited about because I found out that I really like my mystery books to be contained to 1 book. So although I love these books, I'm excited about this one being a standalone. And then the last release I'm really anticipating is Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson, which is a YA contemporary novel that comes out on the 6th of July. Leah Johnson is the author of You Should See Me in a Crown, which came out last year, and I really like that novel. I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe 5 or 4.5, but I really enjoyed it. I really loved the writing. I loved how heartwarming it was while also dealing with important issues. And the premise of Rise to the Sun sounds really good too. It's about two girls who both go to a weekend-long festival, so the story is contained to 3 days, which is something I really like when you've got a story contained to a certain number of days, just like I really like the sound of Malibu Rising taking place over 24 hours. It's just something that makes it sound a little more interesting to me. And I think in Rise to the Sun, these two girls fall in love with each other, because that's what happened in You Should See Me in a Crown, so I think there must be some romance here. I'm not really clear on whether they know each other before going to the festival or whether they meet each other there. I guess we'll find out. But it just sounds like a fun premise and I'm excited to read it. So those were the 7 books that are coming out in 2021 that I'm really excited to read. I don't know if I'll get to them all in 2021. I really hope so, but my list of books to read in 2021 is getting longer almost by the second. So we'll see. Please in the comments let me know if you're excited to read any of these books or mention some of your anticipated releases of 2021. Please like this video if you liked it and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me and my videos, and have a wonderful day. Bye!